are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, the lighting in here is so fucking dumb, and there's a huge lamp behind my
Oh, wow.
laptop. I'm just trying to not.
Looks
And
like you've got a UFO coming down over your head.
I know, beam me up, take me away from here.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to congratulate you because you are officially the first person who I have interviewed for this channel twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 2 years ago. I know you
Hey.
won't remember, but
I have a memory like a goldfish. I'm so sorry.
it's okay. But last time you had different color hair. My hair was
Blonde,
kind
yeah.
of the same.
hmm
And we were talking about fear.
I think I do remember because you're Montreal, right?
Yeah.
I think I do remember that vaguely.
And I'm British, but I'm in Montreal, and you thought I was Australian.
Did I?
Yeah, which is
That's
like,
so dumb of me. I feel
well,
offended for
people
you.
people here think I'm Australian quite often, but I was like, if an Australian person thinks I'm Australian, then maybe I am. I don't know.
I can't believe that. I feel like I've like offended my own kind and yours at the same time.
Yeah. So apart from the hair color, a few things have changed. Last time I spoke to you, it was kind of like the end of COVID.
Yeah.
Everything was starting to open up again. You were finally back out on the road after being like separated from your partner, separated from your band a lot of the time, and unable to tour. So thankfully, at the moment at least, everything is a lot better. So
Yes.
how has Stand Atlantic changed since we spoke last?
Um, that's a look freaking huge question. I don't even know how to answer that. I feel like we've kind of just gotten to know ourselves again and who we are as a band and like I say reconnected, but we've never really been disconnected from each other or anything like that. But I think we've definitely just like grown in the sense of like really acknowledging like who we are as a band and like what we're good at and what we like to offer the world, I guess. So yeah, I would say just we've grown a lot and gotten to know ourselves a lot better.
So what do you think you offer the world?
I don't know. I knew you were gonna say that as soon as I said that. I was
You
like,
set it
"Fuck!
up.
I've really cooked this. I've not done the right thing." Um, I don't know. I feel like us as a band, we've said this from the start, but we've always just wanted to be like, just like keep it real and like, there's no like bullshit. I feel like with us, and we kind of that's who we are as people. Like, I feel like we are quite down to earth and like personable and I think we kind of try and portray that as much as possible, like without, I hate the word, but like branding or whatever you want to call it. Just the way we kind of like project ourselves into the world. And yeah, I think I'm like proud of that. I think it's like it's easy to fall into like the headspace of like comparison between other artists or like, just in general. I feel like that with social media and stuff, that's just a very like real thing that every person, not even artists, go through. And I think, yeah, I think we just like to keep it real and like not let anyone expect anything of us other than we're just here to prove that you can be as dumb as us and still make shit work. So best of luck to
Yeah.
everyone.
That's a good
We just
message for
here
the
to have a
world, I
good
think.
time. Yeah.
I think a lot of people need to hear that.
I think so. We're just here to like have fun and like it ain't that serious. It really ain't that serious.
Yeah.
Just do your thing.
So, like I say, last time we spoke, it was about the album Fear,
hmm
and you were excited about it,
Yeah.
understandably. I was excited about it because I could see the potential in it, but no one
Yeah.
really had heard it. But now
Yeah.
everybody's heard it, like, and it went, so it like things went well. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah,
Did
definitely.
it take you by surprise, or you kind of knew that that was going to be something that would take you to the next level?
No, I think you always hope that, but you never expect it. So I think the reception from that album was like beyond anything we would have expected whatsoever, and we were stoked with it. But then my brain goes, "Oh, great. Now there's a bar, another bar that we have to set for ourselves and try and beat that again." I feel like the only person I'm ever competitive with myself is myself. Um, so yeah, I feel like just making sure that the caliber stayed the same with this album and like nothing got kind of overlooked or anything, and like we just want to make sure like fans and anyone that listens to our music can always expect kind of um they won't know what to expect stylistically ever, but I feel like I hope they can expect at least good songs at the end of the day, whatever that in whatever form that may be.
Yeah.
And we put our whole pussy into everything we do. So yeah.
So you say the person you want to impress the most is yourself, kind of thing. I think
Oh
that's an
yeah.
artist syndrome, right? Like all good artists have
100.
that feeling.
Yep. I mean, yeah, good and bad, maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like the imposter syndrome is something I just constantly deal with all the time. And um I know I'm not alone in that whatsoever. And I don't really know what the answer is to beat it other than just continuing to strive to like be better all the time. And
Don't
yeah,
you
not
think?
let yourself down.
Don't you think that if you beat it, like, that that would be a bad thing in a lot of ways?
Yes, exactly. It's like a finger trap. You're just like, well, if I don't have imposter syndrome, then and I get over it, then maybe I will not be the artist that I am and like have the skill set I have anymore because I don't care anymore because I don't have imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's super confusing. And I kind of talk a little bit about that in like our song Criminal in a sense of like it's also that it's kind of reflective of that whole like tortured artist thing. It's like you kind of want to always be in like a place of hurt or something bad going on so that you have stuff to write about and that can come from like a real place and you have like vulnerability and all that kind of thing. And it can
yeah,
seem very like cyclical and toxic also a little bit. But then you're like, well, if I ain't got this art, then I ain't got nothing. So it's yeah, it's a weird thing.
yeah. I guess so, but you need to look after yourself.
Of course, of course. And I am, but yeah.
You are? Are you looking after
Yeah.
yourself, Bunny?
Yes, yes,
Good.
mentally at
Because
least.
you're on the road at the moment, right?
Hmm.
How do you look after yourself on the road? How do you keep yourself in check with that?
Um, physically, I feel like I try and eat healthy as much as I can and like try and make sure I get enough sleep. And if I feel tired in the middle of the day, then just take a nap because like just do it. Um, and I think having everyone on the like in our touring camp be such kind of like close friends and feel like family is the most important thing ever because I can like we lean on each other for like personal things that we're going through and like that is the biggest thing I think for me personally anyway. Like if I can't confide in someone about what the fuck is going on in my life, then I got nothing. um and so yeah, I definitely do that. I do therapy like every 2 weeks as well. And yeah, I don't know. It's just about constantly like trying to ground myself and making sure that I'm not just running away from my problems by being on the road and I'm actually genuinely just enjoying the time that I'm here for.
Yeah, yeah. No, it sounds like you've got it all pretty sorted. And we spoke
Thank
about
you.
therapy the first time I spoke to you.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, I think maybe you just started going a bit more regularly last time we spoke to you, maybe.
Okay. No, that
Uh,
makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so you did. How do you do that? You just is it like a Zoom thing?
When I'm away, yeah. When I'm in Australia or in Sydney, I'll just go in person. But when I move, because I'm moving to LA this year. And I'll probably just keep doing it via Zoom, I think, because once you find like a therapist, it's hard to find a therapist that you kind of click with. So
Yeah.
I have one now that like I really like, and I've like seen her for like quite a while now. So I'm like, I don't want to like stop doing that. So I'll just do it via Zoom. It'll be sweet. But yeah,
Cool. Good for you.
yeah. Thanks.
So let's talk about music. We have a new
Yeah.
album. Was here.
Hmm.
Such a cool title. It's just like, why has nobody thought of that
Thanks.
title before? So
Yeah.
who came up with that title?
Me, because I'm a
Ah,
genius. No, it was again, it's the same, been the same thing. Every album is like I've had the title before, like the songs are written, and I don't like hold on to the title like this has to be the name, and then like wait till the end and then choose it. But It's always just like in my back pocket and something that I've just like thought about and kind of constantly like gone back to. And it always ends up being, it must be some kind of subconscious thing, maybe, but it always ends up fitting like the lyrical content and like conceptually, it always ends up fitting like the songs. And I don't know how the fuck that happens. I think someone is looking out for me somewhere. But yeah, so it was the same thing. And I kind of just got inspired by like um we were like touring a lot of venues that we'd toured before, and I just kept seeing our like where we'd like written our names like on the wall and stuff. And like Stan Atlantic was here, like literally written on like every venue in the US. And um it just got me thinking. I was like, damn, like if we died tomorrow, that'd be our legacy, just written on a goddamn brick. And then it kind of just evolved, like as more of the songs were getting written, it just kind of evolved more conceptually of like, you know, obviously sonically this album is like very, very different for us. We're taking a lot of risks.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a cool way to kind of say like, you know, like forget everything you kind of knew about us and like what we sound like and stuff, and kind of have a bit more of an open mind. Like we're kind of like a reinvention like of ourselves, I feel like. So yeah.
It's interesting because you've mentioned the word conceptually like a couple of times recently, and the last album was kind of an anti-concept album.
Yes. Yeah.
So do you feel like this is different in that? I mean, it definitely sounds different, but
Um, I
is
think
there a
what
concept this time? I kind of didn't want to ask that question, but
no, that's fine. No, I wouldn't say I've never written an album where every song is related to this like one concept or anything like that. I'm not smart enough to do that, but I definitely notice like it's more like trends like in the lyrics and like the content I'm like writing about, I feel like. And it was all kind of, even though we wrote it across like essentially like I want to say like a year and a half. Oh fuck, was it a year and a half? Yeah, about a year and a half. Uh I still was just like noticing myself kind of writing similar kind of about similar things, and they were all kind of relating to each other because I was like going through this like thing, and that was like just a big part of like how I was feeling. And I essentially had like the last like I want to say like 3 years or so, I had like very much like numbed myself from feeling a lot of things just based on the stuff that I was going through and personal things. And I upon writing this album, I realized that, and it's a very scary thing to confront when, especially if you don't know what you don't know. Like I didn't realize that that was happening, and I didn't know why I was feeling so isolated from everyone. I didn't know why I was feeling so like disconnected from me and the world and my friends. And then facing that was like a huge thing, and facing the reason for that as well was a another big thing. And there was a moment when we were writing this record where I just like broke down to our producer and like my co-writer Stevie, because he was asking me, he was like dude, what is going on? Like you're not on form, like you're not writing the way that you would normally. And I think that was just a big red flag for me. And I was like, fuck, like, yeah, you're right. Cause I'm not feeling anything. And yeah, I just kind of broke down. I was like, damn, this sucks. And
yeah.
kind of trying to like deal with that was a huge thing on this record. And so that's why I feel like a lot of the songs, to go back to your point, a lot of the songs I feel like are a lot more vulnerable than I ever thought I would be able to get, like given the past like couple of years of my life. So um yeah, I'm like proud of it in that sense. And conceptually, I guess that's what I mean by like they are cohesive in that sense of like I was just dealing with all of that. And like yeah, I hope that answered your question. I feel like I yapped real hard.
It definitely does, and it kind of touches on the themes of Criminal again.
Mhm.
You know, we've talked about protecting yourself and looking after yourself on
Yeah,
the road and just in life in general. We talked about therapy and
yeah,
having that, like you're trying to make these songs that express how you're feeling, but like that makes you vulnerable, and making yourself vulnerable that often in front of people must be just
yeah.
like, I don't know how you do it really, to be honest.
for me, it just it depends what I'm sharing, I think. Like for me, that what I was dealing with involved like someone else, so that was a very, very scary thing. I didn't want to admit stuff to anyone. I didn't want anyone to know what was going on. And like, um, yeah, I was kind of like protecting that person more than myself, I guess. And then that just manifested into me just being a complete shell of myself. And then yeah, as you said, like if I can't feel anything, like I can't write anything. And so if I can't write anything, this person's out of a job. We don't have a band. The guys are fucked. Like I'm fucked. Like it just is a knock-on effect. And I just had to like stop being a coward and just actually like address this thing and like have the courage to like get through it instead of just constantly like putting it off and not dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, kudos to you for that. I mean,
Thanks.
it's one thing to get through that barrier,
Yeah.
write and record the song, but then you've got to go out for the next year and a half or whatever it is and sing these things every night. Are
Yeah.
you able to disconnect in that scenario?
Yeah, luckily I am. I feel like you do it so much that it becomes you just become like so desensitized to like um the feelings you have like experiencing while writing it. But um I definitely though I've noticed that every time we play like every song, I'm thinking about the situation that like even old songs, I'm like thinking about where I was at writing it and like how I was feeling, but I'm not in the emotion, if that makes sense. I'm just like focusing on making sure no one's lost a shoe in the crowd, apparently. So yeah.
Yeah, different kind of problems.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe I don't know if it's the success of f.e.a.r or just the fact that you push things a little bit more with f.e.a.r. I feel like it's given you definitely more freedom to
Yeah.
experiment. Is that fair
Mhm.
to say?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so.
So when you started this record, what was your goal? And like, do you think you achieved the goal?
I think we achieved the goal. The goal was to write like this is gonna sound kind of douchey or whatever, but like we wanted to write something that like people hadn't heard before and like not just from us, but like kind of in general. Like we listen to so many different things genre wise that it's like impossible not to put that into the stuff that we write because it's like the stuff we want to listen to too. So it's like finding that balance of what we're really good at and what we know the fans like and bridging the gap between that and like what we want to listen to and hopefully that creates something like super unique and fresh and we always try and go like against the grain, like we never try and follow any trends because that's just so dumb, especially because when you're writing a record it's like 2 years later it comes out, so if you're going off a trend that's like
Mhm.
current while you're writing it, it's going to be so irrelevant by the time the album comes out, so we never do that. But um yeah, I think the main goal was just to create something we'd never done before and kind of shock people, I guess, a little more and push the boat out and continue like doing the thing that we keep talking about doing, which is like not wanting to be put into a box. And I feel like I hope we've done that. I don't know. I don't know. People are going to think
Yeah,
what they think anyways. So yeah.
I- I've been listening to the album today. Luckily enough, I've had an advance copy.
Yeah.
It's magnificent, I have to say.
Hey, magnificent's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, like my music taste, like you, is all over the place, and
Hmm.
like I just love the fact that you've incorporated like electronic elements. You brought in collaborators on different tracks, and
Sure.
you never quite know what's going to happen next with you guys, but it
Yeah.
always feels right when it happens.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that a
Yeah.
lot. Thanks.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Which song on the album are you most proud of?
Oh, mm, I'm really proud of Girls because I never thought I'd write a song like that. And I did. So I was like, cool. That's dope as fuck. And we got some like really cool features on there. And 17 was a struggle personally, and I didn't want it on the album, but I'm proud that like I got that shit out and like talked about it and got as vulnerable as it did with that one. Girls Are Gone as well, or Gag, whatever. Keep forgetting we called it Gag. Um And what else? I think Wake Up as well, like the intro track is so different from us. I'm like, yeah, I think that one I'm like extra proud of as well because I'm like, damn, we fucking did that shit. It's crazy. And like we pulled it off and it's a good song. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, I'm proud of all of them in
Yeah,
different ways.
you should be for sure. So good things are coming yet again. Like this album
Mhm.
is like I do feel like it's a step up again for you guys, which I think the last album was. So it feels like you just keep pushing yourself, but with immaculate results. So just keep doing what you're doing because we love it. And it's exciting times for Standard Atlantic. And thank you very much for spending some time talking to me again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll see you on the road when you get to
Hell
Montreal.
yeah. 100%. 100%.